Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Euclid by Sleep Token from their album Take Me Back to Eden. I'm musically malnourished and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what we can learn. All right, here's where I want to start. Euclid means glorious or renowned in Greek. Most famously, it refers to Euclid of Alexandria, the ancient Greek mathematician known as the father of geometry for his foundational work Elements, which systematized geometry through axioms and proofs, influencing mathematics for centuries. I thought this was interesting too, because one of the key ideas is the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Parallel lines never cross. So even in the idea of geometry, I thought it was interesting in the song, this line, we'll go back and start from the top, but to kind of connect, it says, yet in reverse, you are all my symmetry. A parallel I would lay my life on, which, you know, there could be a tie to the idea of Euclid in its origin being glorious or renowned, because it does feel like in some ways this song, at least to the best of my knowledge, seems like a bit of closure. And I thought it was interesting too, because he does have this lyric within here about leaving a part of him behind and that he has to be someone new. The artwork, which this is from the vinyl, this 2-disc vinyl, but it has this art book in it, which is funny because I forgot about it some of the other times we were looking at the art. But the booklet that comes with it is literally, there's no lyrics or anything. It's just the art. And so the final image here is a figure that strangely kind of resembles Vessel, with the 6 eye slots, the open mouth, and then holding the head of, obviously, Vessel, having severed it. And so I feel like in a way there is this idea of severing this old self, because from what we understand, this wraps up this trilogy of albums. And it seems, again, we'll get into it, different things, and even the sense of him reaching back out, like asking to be called, that he needs to leave a part of him behind, that he's got to move on to something new. And then the closing, pointing back to sundowning, the night does not belong to God. And tying that whole thing together, it feels like this severing of an old self and trying to become something new. So with that being said, let's hop in here. This is interesting. It says, just run it back. Give me 5 whole minutes. When you play the song, it's around by the time he says, give me 5 whole minutes, the intro has played and there's about 5 minutes left within the song. So it sounds like he's trying to say, just give me 5 minutes to share this, to bring this to an end. So just run it back, give me 5 whole minutes. I am thick tar on the inside burning. So obviously this picture of like an inner turmoil. I've got a ghost in the hallway grinning, which could be a callback to the apparition, and a heavy head that won't stop turning. I was trying to grapple with what that could mean. The idea of a heavy head is sometimes, and I think it says it here in the annotation, anxious attachment style, which there's a number of reasons why somebody might have a heavy head. This one says anxious attachment style causes someone to become hypervigilant, on the lookout for any sign that they will be abandoned. This line and thick tar on the inside burning are references to how anxiety causes one to feel inside. I didn't know if heavy head that won't stop turning is tied to the ghost in the hallway grinning. that maybe it is, if the song is about some amount of closure, the head that won't stop turning, could it mean like looking back, like wanting to go back, but also knowing you need to move forward? I don't know. Help me out with that. If my fate is a bad collision, and if my mind is an open highway, which this feels like a call to granite, which for me, and I know some people like read into the secondhand smoke and glass on the street being more than just a body in your passenger seat. I'm not saying it can't reference a car crash. I don't know. I felt something deeper within it. I know glass on the street sounds like an accident that had happened, and it could be, but I think it's also maybe metaphorically, if it is, because if I was more than just a body in your passenger seat, between the secondhand smoke and the glass on the street, you gave me nothing but a reason to leave, I think is what it was. The body in a passenger seat just feels like I'm treating you as if you're nothing, like you are just a body in my passenger seat. But he's saying, I'm more than just a body in your passenger seat. Like I am something to you. You're something to me. It could be that a collision happened and now it's the aftermath. The secondhand smoke is literally from a cigarette from somebody sitting in the aftermath of an accident, and there's glass on the street. There's also imagery. I think Jules had mentioned in a comment, smoke is in like, if you give someone the smoke, it's like you're attacking them, whether physically or with your words. And if this person's lashing out, then maybe they're receiving this secondhand smoke. Whatever within that, I feel like it is all indicative of a crash, a collision that is coming in their relationship, of a not good relationship. And in him saying here, it feels like it kind of reinforces those ideas as opposed to a literal car crash. Because if my fate is a bad collision, and if my mind is an open highway, give me the twilight two-way vision. This feels like what it's trying to say is like, give me insight, the ability to see. I was looking at this a little bit. Obviously, twilight is the period after sundown, which we're starting to point back to sundowning. It's the period of time before sunrise and after sunset, when the Earth's atmosphere is partially illuminated by sunlight, appearing neither completely dark nor fully lit. Two-way vision, the best that I could find, is this idea. It's a high-gloss, non-perforated, translucent PVC film that allows graphics to be viewed from both sides of a window while maintaining visibility. Here's why I feel like there's the connection here with this. Often used for retail, transit, commercial applications, unlike one-way vision, it enables clear, double-sided visibility with high-resolution imagery and works effectively at night when internal lights are on. So it feels to me like he's trying to see more than what is there, like having some amount of insight. Give me twilight, so as it's getting dark, two-way vision, this ability to see, even in the dark, partially illuminated by light. Give me one last ride on a sunset sky lane. That one I don't totally understand, other than it sounds hopeful. And it moves into this refrain, call me when you get the chance. I can feel the walls around me closing in. As in the song before, it was him ignoring calls. He had missed calls and voicemails from people he didn't trust. Here it seems like he's making an attempt to reach out, that he's in a difficult situation, that he's struggling, and he's now asking, like, call me. And this will repeat as we get further down, as if he's trying to pursue some amount of closure. Just running forwards, a life like wires. This was seeming, and from what I read, to maybe speak to almost like a predestined outcome. Like And it didn't totally make sense to me. I can read the annotation here and you can see if it illuminates it more for you and help me in the comments. But just running forwards, it sounds like just kind of moving along a course and into this idea of the past on an empty ceiling, of sitting and contemplating, laying in bed, looking at the ceiling, thinking back. So the annotation here says, another reference to the wires following that of Take Me Back to Eden, come now, bite through these wires. Vessel suggests as the trilogy concludes, the path taken has been inevitable, following a story like wiring, the circuit being a direct route that returns to its origin once the path has been completed. The wires will continue to carry the circuit forwards, and that instances of life are inevitable, similar to how some view life as being written in the stars. And so, yeah, then like I said here, this just seems like contemplation. I play along with the life signs anyways, but hope to God you don't know this feeling. Here's where this feels a little bit bittersweet and is probably more in touch with reality, is that closure generally is not just like, oh, done, moved on. In following the ideas of this album too, of the reflection, like looking in the mirror, do you wish that you loved me, still dealing with this numbness, it seems though at least that he's making an effort to move forward. He's playing along with the life signs of what feels good, what feels right, especially if you're talking about an attachment that you're walking away from, something that has been destructive, but yet it feels like home to you. Then he's like taking these steps forward, but it feels like he's just playing along. And he's saying, I play along with these life signs, like moving where everybody says I should go, where I what seems to make the most logical sense. But I hope to God you don't know this feeling of like leaving something behind. And even if you take it into, I'm not saying the song is about this, something like an addiction, is that this addiction is not healthy for you, but it's to imagine life without it feels impossible, which is why people return to these addictions, return to these habits. And it's like, you're going to follow the life signs. Let's just take a simple one like smoking. We know smoking will kill us, but if you've spent your whole life smoking, not only do you have the nicotine, but you also have the comfort of a cigarette. It's like, every time you drive, you light up a cigarette. When you wake up, you look forward to that smoke. Sorry if I'm somebody in here is like, I'm trying to quit and you're making me want to start back. But I think it paints the picture, because you're like, I know I need to leave this behind, but life forward feels impossible without it. And I hope to God nobody else feels this feeling. Yet in reverse, you are all my symmetry. So like, thinking backwards, you seem to fit me just right. A parallel I would lay my life on. So if your wings won't find you heaven, I will bring it down like an ancient bygone. This is interesting. We'll read here. This excerpt very likely acts as a callback or perhaps a call forward to The Night Does Not Belong to God, depending on how you view the timeline of sundowning, the Eden Trilogy timeline. If your wings won't find you heaven, I'll bring it down, harkens back or forward to this line from The Night Does Not Belong to God, and the night comes down like heaven. This line may also act as a reference to levitate, in which these lines follow the thematic pattern of angels, heaven, and the act of raising or lowering in reference to both. Will you levitate up where the angels inhabit? Will you levitate where I won't reach you? A thematic element to these particular lines is the idea of lifting up or bringing good things, heaven, down to someone, almost acting as a gift. This theme is explicitly stated in Levitate with the track's opening line, I can't lift you up, but mentioned again in Euclid, almost in an inverse fashion, with this line, I will bring it down. So, I mean, it seems, it's hard because there's a part of me that feels like he would just fully detach. But maybe there's still a side of him like he wants good to come to this person. Maybe he feels as though even possibly is it moving on is him bringing heaven down. So then we get this refrain that mirrors the first one, but is a bit more obvious. Call me when you have the time. I just need to leave this part of me behind. That's the closure, right? And then he's wondering, do you remember me when the rain gathers? I'm curious too if this is a call to this place will become your tomb, and the idea of like when rain gathers. Just put yourself in this place, okay? Imagine after the great flood. It rained 40 days and 40 nights. Great flood upon the earth. You would have to imagine that the rain after that could feel like, oh gosh, like, is it happening again? And so I wonder if it's the idea of like when the rain gather, like when it begins to rain, do you think of me? Do you think of us? Or maybe they shared a moment in the rain. But I don't know. I like the imagery of it begins to rain, the rain begins to gather, and there's this reminder of how we went into the depths together, that we were consumed. And do you still believe that nothing else matters? Possibly a reference to Bloodsport, tangled with what I never said, you say it doesn't matter. For me, it's still the autumn leaves, these ancient canopies that we used to lay beneath. And again, that could be a pointing back to a memory, you know, a time that they would walk together, lay beneath the trees, whether literally or figuratively. No, by now, the night belongs to you. This bough has broken through, so we've got callbacks to the bough breaks from EP1. I must be someone new. And then this is really interesting, man. The mashup here of all the lines that we previously heard, it almost feels like it's the two sides, right? The way that he's feeling and the direction that he wants to head in. Like in this moment is where this closure, this storm is happening within him. All these memories, all this understanding and perspective just seems to swirl together and then breaks out into the outro. My gosh, dude, what? So far, there have only been a handful of times since starting this channel that I've just been like completely in awe. And it's a special thing, I think, when you listen not only to one album or multiple albums from an artist and they're able to do something like this, to just bring this whole thing together. It's like watching a TV show, like a mini series or multiple seasons, and then you get that moment that it pulls these events from the past and just gives you this closure in a sense for yourself, you know, within all of this. So we go straight back to the night does not belong to God. The whites of your eyes turn black in the low light. In turning divine, we tangle endlessly. Like lovers entwined, I know for the last time you will not be mine, so give me the night. Here's where it's hard, because if you believe this kind of precedes, or maybe it is a cycle that now he's going to go back into with sundowning, this place will become your tomb, take you back to Eden. I personally love the hopeful view of this, that it's the same lyrics, but in a different perspective, that it is him finally coming to grips with, you will not be mine. And so give me the night. We'll see what this says here. I think there's a final annotation. No, there's not. Maybe I read it somewhere. Here's one from we looked at this in the last song, from Reasonable Newt 4718. This is what their take on it was. Which we can get in better here. Okay. Vessel is better now. He's in a state of acceptance, wishing the other person goodbye. It's hard, but he reaches out to someone he cares about. See, I think it's still reaching out to the same person, but it could be reaching out to somebody else and then reaching out to the person he needs to make closure with in the second line. I feel like it's the same person, but it could support that, like, he reaches out to the first person that maybe somebody different, that he's just trying to find some help because the walls are closing in. And then maybe in the second one, reaching out to this person he needs closure with. But who knows? For support, and recognizes he's just running forward in life despite feeling like the walls are closing in. He asks the ex-lover if nothing else matters, stating things that matter to him, like the autumn leaves, the trees he likes to lay under, or that they laid under. The song ends where he acknowledges they will not be mine, that the night that belongs to them, he would like that space and time for himself again. That is the hopeful place I like to take it, is that the night is something different for him now. Again, it's not like it's fully over. The process of closure is that it's a process. It's a journey. It's choosing not to keep looking back. So I don't know, but it was absolutely stunning. And I'm sure you saw in the reaction, totally caught me off guard. And, one of the greatest moments of closure within an album that I've had. So let me know your thoughts on this one. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you over in Arcadia. I'm looking forward to listening to that for myself. But I hope to see you over there. We're eating good.